everybody, JohnScrew12 back here again with another video, and today I bring you once again another Flash review. Yes, it's Tuesday night, and Flash has returned back to the CW. Yes, it's fucking awesome. I can't say any more than that. Last week there wasn't an episode because of the whole election thing, so it's a sad thing, but it's true. Like things like that kind of happen throughout the course of television shows where they don't really post an episode for a specific week. But it's back, and this week's episode was quite impressive, to say the least. Today's episode is Flash episode 5, Plastique, and it's a really awesome episode. I think one of the major topics and plot points in this episode that I really appreciated was friendship. Obviously, Flash. Well, first off, spoiler alert: if you have yet to see the episode and you've not seen, tonight's episode, then obviously check it out. Then come back. But this is going to contain spoilers. But nevertheless, the overall episode's topic is all about friendship and new friendships and all that kind of jazz. Barry obviously, through his monologues, is talking about how friendships can affect him and how they come to be and how it can affect him when he loses these friendships. Which I thought was kind of interesting, because we all know Flash on this television series has a lot of friends. The people that are part of his team mean a lot to him. Obviously, his family means a lot to him. So I thought it was just a really interesting topic. And we got some really interesting villains from the DC universe to come on. First being Plastique, Bet San Susie, as she is pronounced. I hope I pronounced that correctly. She's actually a Captain Atom villain from the comic books. And unfortunately, she wasn't really in this episode that much, but nevertheless, she was in here in her full glory, which I thought was cool. The next big villain that was also in this episode was General Elling, and I thought it was great to finally get him on the show. I mean, like, I'm a huge fan of the comic book character and the actor himself that's portraying the character. I'm a humongous fan of his, so I think it's great that he's going to be a regular on the show. I can't wait to see some more plot points with him. For those of you who are wondering, like, what his general, the basis of his character is, essentially that in the comic books, he's kind of like a hulking creature. Like, he develops like this serum, super soldier kind of serum, where he wants to create a new race of military weapons through super strength and whatnot. And he kind of becomes affected of it and becomes like this humongous hulking creature thing, which I thought was cool. And I don't know if they're gonna approach that in the TV series, where he actually becomes a subject to subject of metahuman, but I think it's just great that he's going to be a part of it anyways. But Bet and Susie is actually not really a major villain in this episode. She's actually kind of just in it to discover what happened to her, try to fix what happened to her, and trying to just get out of the reaches of General Elling, who in this episode has an entirely new agenda. He obviously wants to capture Susie to use to his advantage, and of course Team Arrow. I keep getting Team Arrow is still ingrained in my head, but Team Flash. Sorry about that, but Team Flash obviously comes in to stop General Elling and tries to help Susie, who by through the gracefulness of Cisco Ramon has dubbed her Plastique, which is cool. And it's a really awesome episode. I really was expecting a little bit more out of the episode, but overall it was really good. The visuals were great. The abilities that Susie uses is awesome. For those who are wondering, basically her ability is to, whatever she touches becomes an explosive device, essentially. So I wish they could have used that to their advantage on the visual side, in the sense that they could have done more stuff with her. But overall, I think she was done justice. She was a pretty interesting character. Spoilers, of course, if you have yet to see the episode, but she does end up dying. There's a humongous sequence where her and Harrison Wells, of course, being the person Wells is, has to put in some subliminal dark messaging in her head, where Elling obviously he's not going to stop. He's going to capture her and use her, and obviously she doesn't want that, and there's no real cure yet developed by Startup Labs to help her become a regular human again. So she decides to take it upon herself to basically as a suicide mission, wink wink Suicide Squad. Anyway, she decides just as a suicide mission to just go out and just try to kill Elling on her own, and unfortunately it backfires on her. Flash comes in, Barry comes in basically to try and stop her, but in the process of trying to stop her, Elling gets one good shot at her in the chest, and she unfortunately dies, which I thought was really sad. I wish they could have used her to her advantage to the point of maybe having her as a regular or whatnot, but granted, her powers can't really be used for good in the sense of like how Barry uses his powers, but at the same time, I think it would have been great to have her on the team. I mean, like, everybody else agreed, Barry, Cisco, Caitlin, they were like, yeah, we like her, but, I don't know. It's just really sad. I thought it was, a really sad point, but nevertheless, we have all that going on, but on the subplot, Iris West is obviously still on record trying to discover everything about the streak. We finally get some good moments with Iris in this episode, I personally think, with her and Barry. And also the streak, if you will. Essentially, Barry and Joe decide that the only way to stop her is for Barry to really open himself up and tell her that she really needs to stop from the bottom of his heart. But obviously, it's not really going through to her head. She wants to discover the streak. She wants to know everything about the streak, and she obviously wants, the whole city to know about the streak, but obviously we can't have that because if, Flash's villains discover that she has any association with the streak, that could, not benefit Team Flash. So, they have this really nice and cool sequences by the, of course, trying to explain that, yeah, she has this fascinating obsession with the streak, but at the same time, there's a whole other kind of storyline going on, so you need to stop. But it's not going through to her, and in the end of the episode, Barry decides that the best way to stop this is just that if Barry and Iris just stay apart for a while, which I thought was really weird. At first, I liked it, but at the same time, it just comes off really awkward because they obviously aren't dating, and what does that mean? Like, not, just stay apart from each other for a while. Like, what does that mean? Like, are we never gonna see Iris again? I mean, like, I doubt that, but it just doesn't make that much sense to me. That's all I'm trying to say. But overall, it was a really interesting subplot. I really liked everything about this episode. It was just really good. Also, I liked all the comedic elements in this episode. There was a whole bunch of comedy in this episode when it comes to, Barry, trying to, use his powers, and also we got to see super liquor. Yes, Barry in the beginning and the end of the episode really can't drink liquor anymore, but Caitlin develops this new liquor that he can actually process through his body, which I thought was kind of cool. And also, I also really find it interesting and awesome that we're finally getting Barry to really test his abilities. We finally got to see him run on walls and run on water, which was cool. So this episode was just a full-time, awesome, just badass episode. Plastique, episode 5, I give it a full 9 out of 10. At first I was going to give it an 8.5, but then, people, and this is the biggest sequence that blew my head out of the water, and I felt like my legs were going to become freaking puddles. But essentially, there's obviously the post-title sequence where we get some good, interesting Harrison Wells creepiness, and we finally get some in this episode, and it was quite awesome to say the least. Apparently, the only flashback sequence is this one sequence, and it's 5 years prior to the events that happened in this episode, and General Elling and Wells are having discussion over a procedure or an experiment that they're currently having, and the fact that, Harrison Wells doesn't really want to work with Elling again, and Elling is obviously, he's a bad guy, so he wants to continue using Wells, but they're obviously at odds, which would explain their current relationship in in present time. But then they just had this overall conversation over an experiment procedure with a specific person. And for a second there, I was like, I kind of felt that they weren't going to show who it was, but I was just trying to think, like, who could it be that they're talking about? Like, who are they working on? Please show us something, please. And they finally did in the exact last few seconds of the episode, and it is Gorilla Grodd. Yes, people, we finally get to see Gorilla Grodd in his full glory. Unfortunately, it's not a really good picture of it. I mean, it's really dark and ominous, and there's so many shadows, but we do see a gorilla in Grodd's cage, and obviously it's the same cage that we saw in the pilot. So will Gorilla Grodd ever be presented in The Flash? I cannot wait to see that. I hope it happens. Gorilla Grodd, as you know, is hands down, my favorite Flash villain, and also one of my favorite villains in the DC universe. I just love apes, and I love Gorilla Grodd, so he just scares me. So will we ever get to see him? I hope so. I mean, like, why would they just tease that so big? I mean, like, will we see it this season? I don't know. Maybe that's a second season kind of thing. But I guess it all depends on Harrison Wells' agenda. But I really liked his last words, where it's like the gist was that he has a lot more upcoming plans for him. So what does that mean? Like, is he creating like some kind of utopia of just talking apes, or is he trying to create the first super genius ape? You know, some kind of Rise of the Planet of the Apes type stuff. Obviously, there's so many possibilities that we can go from here, but the fact that we finally got to see Gorilla Grodd is just awesome. I really love Gorilla Grodd. I can't wait to see upcoming stuff from him, and it just was really amazing to see him. So because of that one sequence, it's a 9 out of 10, hands down. But nevertheless, this entire episode itself was really great. The visuals were great. The comedy was there. The references to characters were great. There was not really that many Easter egg references, but there were a couple good ones. One, obviously, Captain Atom. Unfortunately, will we ever get to see Captain Atom? I doubt it, but it was just good to have a villain from his rogues gallery in here to reference his general character. But anyways, besides that, another really interesting Easter egg was Caitlin Snow holding a boomerang. As we all know, that's a very obvious Easter egg reference to the Flash villain, Captain Boomerang. And now, we all know that the CW plans to present Captain Boomerang. When that is going to happen, I have no idea. I hope it's very soon, but I think it was good prelude to finally seeing Captain Boomerang, so that was pretty interesting. Other than that, I didn't really see that many Easter egg references, but as always, in the comment section below, let me know all the Easter egg references that you saw that I didn't really witness my first viewing. So just let me know in the comment section. And also in the comment section below, let me know what you personally thought about this episode. What do you rate it? What do you personally think? What did you think about seeing Gorilla Grodd for the first time? And what are your expectations for upcoming stuff? But anyways, I think that's going to be it. This episode was awesome. It was very beautiful. I love The Flash. It's hands down my favorite show as of yet, as of right now. Of course, that could change, but so far, it's my favorite show, and I'm just glad it's finally back on Tuesdays, and I can't wait for next week's episode I have humongous expectations for greatness from this show, so there's only up from here. But anyways, let me know what you personally think in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already. And this has been JohnTricker12. Also, go back to my channel. There will be various reviews from previous episodes. And also Arrow Season 3 reviews. So you definitely check that out. I will be reviewing next week's episode and tomorrow's Arrow episode. So if you want to know my personal thoughts on who killed who and what's Roy Dream all about, definitely be back to check out that review. But nevertheless, this has been JohnTricker12. Hope you guys enjoyed.